கல்யாணம் ஆகி நாங்க பார்த்த முதல் படம் was Mahanadi. Both of us came out crying. I mean,
So movie buff here.
it's an occupational hazard. Like some of them have to do it. I can't tell them stop your job.
Yeah.
We call this sleep hygiene. Sleep deprived forever, and we call it sleep debt. Like
DBT.
DEBT.
Welcome Makkale.
Welcome.
Welcome back to our channel called the Filmsandfonts.
We have with us a very renowned guest, very well known in his field. We're not going to talk about his specialization, but he's come here as a common man, the audience, to tell us his views on movies in general.
Yes.
Meet Dr. Ramakrishnan, and he is the first person to have set up a sleep clinic in India
If we
called
say it-
NITHRA, NITHRA.
NITHRA, yeah. If we say it in a positive way, he puts people to sleep.
He does it.
Audience.
I would like to add this, that my husband was suffering from sleep apnea for 10 years and we didn't even know what was wrong with him. There were ENT specialists saying have a no surgery and all kinds of things, and it was Dr. Ram who came to the rescue, who gave a new life to Hari, and he was able to direct a movie called Tuvanam,
Okay.
which wouldn't have been possible but for Dr. Ramakrishnan.
Yes. So he plays a very important vital role in your life as well as also in the different people's
Well, he's
life as
become
well.
my friend, philosopher and guide now.
Oh, that is a great thing.
And it's
Oh,
such a
thank you.
pleasure to have you with us, especially because it's the startup channel.
Yes.
Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you. It's a real pleasure, and I don't watch night shows. You can guess why.
I know.
Because I respect my sleep and
Yes.
I do not watch night shows. But
Ah.
I enjoy watching a lot of movies, good movies for their content, good movies.
And you make time. How do you
Yeah.
make time in spite of your busy schedule?
Well, time is what we make of it, right? I mean, we prioritize things, and as long as we treat everything as a priority, I think எல்லாமே பண்ண முடியும். We don't have to say that என்னால் இது மட்டும்தான் பண்ண முடியும், அது மட்டும்தான் பண்ண முடியும். You can do a lot of things. There's a lot of time, and of course, time to sleep as well.
So you must have seen the movie.
Yes, I did.
So how was it all about?
Well, first of all, to talk and tell about my movie watching, as I said, I watch all kinds of movies, whether it is masala movies or movies rich in content, movies just for performance, all kinds of movies. And some movies I just walk in without any expectation, but either one I didn't see in the first week. So there was a lot of
Because you were not in
expectation.
town.
No, I was not in town, and a lot of expectations built. And to tell you how much of a movie buff I am, Aniki, my wife couldn't come, so I went and watched this movie alone.
Oh, that is it. Getting married
Hey,
and then
that is
just
very rare, right?
Yeah, so we always go together, but Aniki, she had a commitment, and if I missed that day, I couldn't watch for the next several days, and she was fine with it because she was saying, Aniki, no, I feel it will hit me too hard. I really don't want to watch the movie. So I went alone, and if I had to tell you what I felt the movie was, I thought it was a very emotional love film, And when I say love, it's not just between the hero and heroine, but it's love for the country, love for the services, parents' love for the son, his love for his wife, and vice versa. So it was very emotional, and I did cry.
Down south, we're not aware of the impact the army people are going through,
Absolutely.
right? We're having
Absolutely.
such a peaceful life.
yeah, and see, me being as a Kashmiri, I had a whole different perspective over the movie.
Did you already knew the film was a hit when you watched it, so you would have gone with a lot of expectation, because when you watch it first day for sure, you don't have that, there's no online prediction and
No, first of all, even as the movie started, I was very impressed with the kind of efforts that have gone in from, Sivakarthikeyan, I would say, is probably one of his career's best. Right from the very first scene, I could have never imagined Sivakarthikeyan like all buffed up and, like having somebody stand on him. That was a great introduction scene because I thought that, he had put in all that effort to really look like an army man, and it was so good.
Sai Pallavi,
Sai Pallavi is so natural.
she lived her role, no?
Always, this is not the first time, whether it was Gargi or any of her movies, even for masala movies with the Dhanush, the dance. She's so natural with everything, not just acting. I feel that எல்லாமே நல்லா பண்ணியிருந்தா, but you know, like in the end, you know, when he has told her that I don't want you to cry,
Right, yeah, that was,
and to show that emotion of the loss without actually crying was like,
it was
know,
amazing.
amazing.
Even though when I was watching the movie, she was right next to me, like she was standing beside, like on the top shelf, they were there, and I was able to see that we have the real character in Rebecca Verghese, and the whole throughout the movie, because I come from Kashmir and I've all seen all this right from the beginning, from my childhood. I've grown up with this sort of what do you call it? This sort of
Environment.
Yeah.
Did you share it with them when they were making the movie? I know
Yes,
you are
yes,
interviewing me, but I'm asking you a
yes,
question.
Yes, definitely. Yeah, I've shared a lot of experience like this. So for me, at certain times, I was not able to express myself that emotion because it was so dead in me. I've seen so much in my life, and I was like, okay, this is nothing new to me. I've already seen it. But that particular point, I just had to look at her, and I was like, what she would have been felt at that point of her time. So it was such an emotional connect for me.
Absolutely.
So there was where I literally felt emotional throughout the movie. Not even that split seconds and stuff, like I did so much of the role in my character and so I felt emotional, felt bad for me, nothing. But that moment that when you said something like this has happened,
Generally, I mean, what makes you think, sorry, in the padattukku na pono, or is it just for the moment? And what caught your heart and mind before Amaran? I mean, not a specific movie that really touched a chord in you.
Recent.
Anytime, parvala.
I mean, movies like most of Kamal Hassan's movies, I would say, you know, whether it is
I'm a hardcore
Andrei
fan of Kamal.
In fact, you know, again another trivia. Kalyana Aayi நாங்க பார்த்த முதல் படம் was Mahanadi. Both of us came out crying. You know, like it was just 2 days after our marriage, 1994 January we got married. It was a Pongal release. So we went and, you know, so any such movies I would probably go with a lot of expectations. In general, I'm not a big fan of violent movies. So that is something that I try to avoid.
You still went for Amaran.
I still went for Amaran, but it wasn't that violent, to
I
be
think
honest.
it's
It wasn't portrayed that way, you know, like.
இல்ல ஒரு patriotic feel in
But
this
now
because
maybe
movie
it
this
is.
movie, you know, like.
Yeah. So அந்த மாதிரி படம் போவேன், or if I feel that something has to be watched on big screen and not on OTT, you know, just for pure, you know, the visuals and stuff. Yeah, I would probably go and watch. But
So this is a question, very tricky question. I know you have a lot of patience. I mean, of course you have a lot of patience. What I mean is, celebrities come to you as patients and you don't disclose anything about them as a doctor, but you're seeing them as a patient or that family coming to you as a patient, and then you see them on big screen. Do you ever call them and say, I saw your movie and, you know, I liked it? Or
I
something?
usually don't. But when I see them the next time, I probably would tell them I did watch your movie.
Sir,
I saw it was fine, but
sir
I
is
never
being
call
really
them.
professional to this work.
No, he's very professional, but it's very interesting because you have connect with them outside of the real life. You have a connect with them in real life. And I know that he's very, very professional. He doesn't talk about it.
Yeah, that's a good thing. That's a good sign of. See, as an artist point of view, I'll tell you, because when we see a lot of artists and maybe actors and actresses, a lot of time we shoot at the nights. The sleep cycle is not as proper as it should be. We sleep usually sometimes for 7 hours. Sometimes it's always really less, 5 hours, 3 hours, 2 hours. So like actors like this has come up to you with such sort of things.
Yeah,
and
actors and directors, a lot of them.
Okay.
Because, you know, like and music directors.
Oh,
Some of whom compose only at night.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, we see all of them. And again, you know, like, it's an occupational hazard, you know, like some of them have to do it. I can't tell them stop your job, you know, like it's like IT professionals. A lot of them work in the night. So we teach them techniques to sleep better during the daytime if they can. But the problem is, it is so irregular, you know, like for 6 months they may have a lot of movies shooting this. Then they go back to their regular schedule and then it's that comfort zone.
So a lot of like maybe new people, new introduction to the industry, like now நிறைய ஆர்டிஸ்ட் இருக்காங்க. So sometimes they keep be there on their phone all the time, looking on Instagram, looking on these things. So as a general awareness on sleep, how important it is for the upcoming generation, because nowadays we see usually Instagram is there, it is like you just swipe up till 12 till 1 at night. So even though myself I felt like sometimes I got addicted because a little bit of fame comes up to you and then you will get stick to your phone, right? Oh, what's happening next, what is happening. So I literally had an eye, something infection in my eye, and I was not able to sleep properly. So I felt, okay, sleep is really important. So what will you
In general, we tell people sleep on time, wake up on time as much as you can. Of course, there are days when you may not be able to do that. Generally, if you have a schedule, that's good. Any kind of light emitting gadgets, like whether it is laptop, whether it is
Phone,
TV or
TV.
phone, any of them in darkness is not good because it definitely is going to delay your sleep even more.
Half
Plus,
an hour before sleep you shouldn't, no?
1 hour.
1
1
hour.
hour?
Yeah.
Nice.
And adu mattum illama more importantly, the content may also make you a little bit more emotional, whatever you're watching. Even if it's your own fame, you're thinking, oh, idu innum konjam panna more people will like my thing. So any of those will make a difference. So it's not just the light, but it's also the thoughts that go with it. Anything that bothers you in a good or bad way, would really disturb your sleep.
Super. So when you see a movie, when you watch a movie, you're so invested in it, and suddenly a different language comes in to your glance, and then you are so invested, and suddenly from Tamil it goes to Kashmiri. So that transition is there. So there is a subtitle which plays a very important role.
He in fact watches other movies or other languages or
So
he watch other languages.
Yes, I
in
do.
this movie, there were certain areas like that where this transition happened. Was the subtitle some help to you in those areas?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, there's no question subtitling makes movie watching so much better. Okay. And I think the reach is much more global. I watch movies in several languages, whether it is Malayalam or Telugu or so அதை வந்து fortunately or unfortunately these days, if you watch it in OTT, அது எந்த லாங்குவேஜ்ல வேணா மாத்திக்கலாம். But it is horrible to watch. For example, a Telugu or a Malayalam movie, தமிழ் பேசுற மாதிரி பார்த்தோம்னா, it's not at all. There is no connect with that movie. So same thing as you said in the Kashmiri and the dialogue. So அது தமிழ்ல பேசியிருந்தாங்கன்னா it would have looked horrible. Because that இவங்களுக்கு தமிழ் பேச தெரியாது.
No, that's why I'm not for this para dubbing.
Yeah.
Like how we landed up with the wrong.
So that's where the subtitling really makes a difference. And I've told this to rekhs personally, but I would like to place on records that subtitling, she's taken it to a whole new level. But more importantly, and whatever is mentioned there, the content should be quick and easy to read. The font should be clear. It shouldn't be too long because adukulla adutha scene poidum, you're losing the connect. You're going to read it fast. So it makes a huge difference.
A flow should be there where it should go with the movie.
Absolutely.
So
and you should have enough time to look at the picture.
Ama.
Adu paathutu kuda subtitles.
Yeah. And I think since you talked about subtitling, I also want to say subtitling songs is absolutely important because even recently I was in the US and one of the Americans asked me, did you watch Nata Nata? So he didn't even remember RRR. So he's talking about the song. Okay. So unless the song is also appropriately subtitled, I think the reach would be much lesser.
Sometimes there's a word actually, if you see in the movie, is like hum kya chahte azadi, zor se bolo azadi, haq hamara. So it actually has the same azadi azadi azadi, but instead of keeping it at a single word, she actually introduced what can be the different alternative for it, what can be the different meaning. Exactly, she told me what exactly in Hindi or Kashmiri means, and then she used her words very wisely. So that's where I actually really liked it. I was like,
no, that's when he realized the value. I mean, how subtitle reaches.
No, I totally understand. See, when you are listening in a language that you don't know with emotions, and then here you are reading words. By reading, you don't see the emotion, but with this, when you sync it, you get all the emotions of the subtitle.
You're a true movie buff, True movie buff. Besides being excellent in medicine. While on subtitles, I really have to thank you. And I tell you why, because we'd have got it all wrong, but for you sitting up there till 3:34.
Oh, you made me not like.
Made me late. It was for your movie. You're also there.
But still.
But stop. That's not fair. You put him at risk, basically.
Can you please tell us more about this sleep cycle?
We call this sleep hygiene. Okay, basically what it is just like how we have body hygiene, dental hygiene, there's something called sleep hygiene. And like habits that can promote good sleep. That's what is called sleep hygiene. Number one, having a regular time schedule, reasonably, of course. Like எல்லாருக்குமே கொஞ்சம் இப்படி அப்படி மாறும். Usually we recommend sleeping sometime between 9 to 11 p.m. and waking up sometime between 5 to 7 a.m. இதுக்குள்ள most of us will sleep about 6 to 8 hours, most adults. That's what we recommend. ரெண்டாவது, when we get up in the morning, exposing the body to sunlight and doing exercise. See, and looks like you're all buffed up and muscle man. So you're probably going to the gym.
Yes.
But நிறைய பேர் they miss sunlight. You know, like so having sunlight in the morning is really essential for what we call vitamin D in the morning, and then nightla வந்து it secretes melatonin which gives you a good sleep. So that is important. Then eating on time, you know, having your breakfast on time, lunch on time, and more importantly dinner at least 2 hours before bedtime. So 8 மணிக்குள்ள you try to eat and then start dimming the lights, and we already talked about it, not have too many light emitting gadgets in front of you. And once you go to bed, no watching TV in bed, no reading books, no lights, no phones, nothing.
No reading books?
With light. You know, like if you want backlights a little bit, that's okay. Bright light but that's going to be the same thing.
Okay.
So you can listen to music if you want. That way it's just going to drift to sleep. And then we also suggest that anything that's a stimulant, whether it's coffee, smoking, you know, alcohol, any of those, try to avoid at least about 4 to 5 hours before bedtime. And no vigorous exercise before bedtime. You know.
On the contrary, what happens if you are working for 16, 17 hours and it's random? Sometimes 17, sometimes 18, and sometimes whatever. Like,
it really like messes up your entire system, because there is a reason why we sleep. I mean, it's like saying வாரத்தில் 5 நாள் சாப்பிட மாட்டேன், 6th and 7th day I'll eat all day. That's not going to work.
I mean, is that an analogy to eating also? I mean,
Yeah.
sleep and...
You can't do that, right? I mean, you can't starve for 5 days and eat. Same thing, you can't say I don't sleep for 5 days and then I'm going to catch up over the week. So this is not unique to the film world, you know, like there are so many others who work, including as doctors, you know, like we have to
Look out for an emergency.
we have to look out for an emergency. Nurses work, factory workers work around the night, IT workers, நிறைய பேர் work பண்றாங்க. It's just a matter of understanding, balancing, and then planning the rest of your day appropriately. You know, if you're working every night, you should get some rest during the daytime. There are people who pull that as well, in which case, you know, like they're sleep deprived forever, and we call it sleep debt. You know, like DEBT. கடல்லே எப்போ இருக்கிற மாதிரி. So you end up with lot of health problems. If you don't sleep enough, you can lead to a lot of psychological problems, mental health problems, physical problems like blood pressure, diabetes, heart disease, stroke, எல்லாமே. So a good night's sleep is essential for good days. So if you want to do well, I think sleep well.
And we had a wonderful time with Dr. Ramakrishnan sir, and hopefully this video has given you some information, some content from the movies and the perspective
of a doctor and a common audience on movies and life in general, especially related to sleep.
So yes, sir, Nandri.
Thank you.
Thank you so
Thank you.
much. It was a pleasure having you on our startup channel, and hope to see more people have more hours of sleep and not get sleep deprived, and yet watch good movies and enjoy.
There are Vanakkam.